Intrigued? According to a 4th century text, Emperor Qin Shi Huang received visitors from a distant land, described as 30 meters tall. They arrived in a vessel called a Lunbo boat. The ancient account is highly specific. It describes a submersible craft utilizing a spiral shape to disperse deep-sea pressure, plunging to the ocean floor while remaining perfectly watertight. Their power source sounds dangerously modern. The visitors carried glowing stones the size of millet seeds that could illuminate an entire palace and emit enough thermal energy to boil a river for dozens of miles. When speaking to the emperor, these giants described an extreme distortion of time. In their homeland, they claimed, 10,000 earthly years passed as a single day. Submersibles with absolute watertight integrity, highly reactive glowing thermal cores, relativistic time dilation. These specific engineering and physics concepts are missing from the standard vocabulary of a civilization operating 2,000 years before the Industrial Revolution. Modern ufologists look at this exact text and see a technical manual. In this interpretation, the Lunbo boat is classified as an unidentified submersible object, or USO, and the glowing stones are mapped directly to high-yield nuclear batteries. This theory suggests the visitors were an alien intelligence transferring advanced military technology to Qin Shi Huang, providing the tactical edge he needed to conquer the neighboring 6 states and unify China. Proponents of this theory point to the bronze swords found alongside the Terracotta Army. When archaeologists excavated the emperor's thousands of clay soldiers, they found weapons buried in the damp earth that were still remarkably sharp. Rumors quickly spread that these blades were coated in modern chrome and forged from futuristic shape memory alloys, a supposed direct result of alien metallurgy. This idea has spawned increasingly wild internet lore. Some claim the emperor used this alien science to enter a state of cryogenic hibernation, perfectly preserving his body inside his unexcavated tomb. To legitimize these claims, online forums drag real scientific authorities into the narrative. You will often see quotes falsely attributed to physicists like Stephen Hawking, claiming they endorse the idea of an immortal hibernating emperor. Curious, we are left with 2 distinct possibilities. Either an ancient Chinese scribe accurately documented the blueprints of a deep-water alien expedition, or modern readers are looking for technology in a text written for a different purpose. The architect of the Wan legend was Wang Jia, a Daoist ascetic who lived in a cave during the Eastern Jin Dynasty, a chaotic period defined by constant warfare and collapsing governments. Wang Jia was not a historian trying to record objective facts. He was writing Daoist theological propaganda. His goal was to convince a war-ravaged population that a higher cosmic order existed above the violence of everyday life. When we read the text through a Daoist lens, the alien features disappear. Take the 30-meter giants. The text notes they wore clothing woven from bird and beast feathers. In Daoist theology, a highly realized spiritual master is called a feathered immortal, a being who has shed the mortal world to float freely. The relativistic time dilation serves a similar theological purpose. By establishing a realm where 10,000 years is just a day, Wang Jia shrinks human empires down to a fraction of a second. It is a mathematical way of proving how insignificant earthly politics really are. Wang Jia intentionally designed this encounter to humiliate the ultimate symbol of secular power. By placing Qin Shi Huang, the conqueror of the known world, at the feet of these immortal giants, the author diminishes the authority of earthly kings and elevates the supreme cosmic truth of Daoism. We can see this was a deliberate literary device by comparing the Wanqu giants to another ancient Chinese myth. The classic text Shanhai Jing, or Classic of Mountains and Seas, describes the Qigong people, a distant tribe who navigated the skies using flying cars. This diagram illustrates 2 entirely different approaches to ancient technological imagination. On the left, the Qigong flying cars operate under strict physical constraints, using wooden gears, wheels, and natural wind currents. On the right, the Wanqu technology bypasses thermodynamics entirely, relying on endless thermal spirals and distorted time. The ancient texts show us exactly how human rulers responded to these machines. When an earthly wind blew a Qigong flying car into the territory of Emperor Shang Tong, He immediately dismantled it. He feared the mechanics could be copied, triggering an arms race. But when Qin Shi Huang encountered the Wanqu submarine, his reaction was worship. He didn't see an engine to be reverse engineered. He saw a path to spiritual eternity. These ancient writers were not drafting patent applications for real machines. They were constructing distinct technological metaphors to explore two very human anxieties: the fear of military vulnerability and the terror of our mortality. This brings us back to the physical evidence claimed by modern ufologists, those eternally sharp, supposedly alien-forged bronze swords found in the emperor's tomb. Metallurgical analysis has traced the source of this high-tech plating. The trace amounts of chromium on the blades were not applied in a modern electroplating bath. They seeped into the metal over 2,000 years from the natural chromium-rich lacquer used to paint the wooden scabbards and handles, and the memory alloy is simply the natural elasticity of a high-tin bronze mix. The urge to turn ancient folklore into modern engineering happens everywhere. There are actual articles online claiming that the wooden, wind-blown flying cars of the Qigong people were the direct inspiration for Leonardo da Vinci's Renaissance aviation sketches. This massive leap ignores the grueling reality of actual aeronautics. Achieving powered flight required decades of empirical testing, material science, and failed prototypes, not just a passing glance at a mythological story. Definitive. When subjected to rigorous archaeology and material science, the physical proof of alien intervention dissolves. There is no hidden extraterrestrial technology buried in the mud of ancient China. If the science dismantles the physical evidence, why did the Wanqu giants and their spiral submarine continue to dominate conspiracy forums today? There is a deep psychological link connecting the 4th century Daoist who wrote the story and the 21st century internet user reading it. Both individuals are looking at the exact same myth and projecting their own specific anxieties onto it. The Daoist, living through societal collapse, imagined a supreme spiritual force that rendered human wars meaningless. The modern internet user, feeling isolated, imagines a highly advanced technological savior. In an era where satellites have mapped every inch of the globe and algorithms govern daily life, the strictly scientific worldview has created a vacuum. People crave cosmic mysteries to fill that empty space. The Wanqu spiral ship exists as a perfect mirror, reflecting a timeless human urge to look at the stars and find a way out of our earthly limitations.